Okay, here we are back with our fourth card in the Kindest Gnomes Christmas card set. This one again is just a very basic card. It's a real red cardstock and white, and then I've stamped the inside, and the outside is just colored again. So what you're going to need, you'll have in your kit, you should have a piece of 4.5 by 8.5 piece of real red cardstock that's been scored at 4 1/4 and folded in half. You have another piece of real red cardstock that's 3 1/4 by 4.5, and that's going to be this part that goes right here on the front. Then you'll have a piece of, actually 2 pieces of the white cut at 4 by 5 1/4. One of those is for the outside, and that one's going to be embossed, and then the other one is for the inside, and then that one will be stamped as well. Okay, then you got another strip for the greeting, and again, this is that 1/2 inch piece that's left over after you cut your front mats at 4 by 5 1/4. Then you're going to need 3 pieces of scraps, one for the toadstool, one for the gnome, and then one for this little, I guess it's a toadstool that's growing and hasn't opened up all the way yet, so you need one for that as well. And then we need a strip of ribbon. This is red and white ribbon, and it is cut to 7 inches. And it looks kind of short, but I'm going to show you how to save ribbon by using it the way I do. Okay, to emboss this piece here, I've used the Old World paper embossing folder. And you can see this gives a really deep edge. That's one of those 3D embossing folders. And this is really deep, and it looks really good too when you sponge it. I just didn't do it on this card, but it does look really nice when you sponged it. Okay, so to get started, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the card together. Got the card front here, and I've already gone and embossed this piece here. I want to show you about the ribbon. I put the ribbon on, and it's about like right in the middle. You can see there. So what I like to do is I like to take my piece of tape and just take 2 little pieces off the end here. And then I will put a piece of tape on one end of the ribbon and a piece on the other end of the ribbon. Now I've seen a lot of people, they'll take the ribbon and they'll wrap it all the way around and then tie a bow, and that uses a lot of ribbon that way. So I don't like to use that much ribbon, so what I do is I just cut a piece that's going to fit over the front and then back behind just a little bit. Get off my fingers there. Okay, so I'm going to put it here because I want it like right in the middle. So I'm just going to take it, put it there, and I'm just going to push it to the back and press down on the tape. Do the same with the other side. I'll line it up right in the middle and then press it behind and put it down with the tape. And then once I see that it's even where I want it, I'm going to turn it over and just, give it a good press on the tape to press it down. That way you're not wasting another whole strip here and one on the front to tie a bow. I'm tying the bow separately as well too. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue this onto the card front. I don't know if you can hear it thundering, but it's getting ready to storm here at my house. It's really loud. Okay, so I'm going to line this up so that I have a little border all the way around. And I'm just going to lay that down like that and take my bone folder. Make sure it's on straight. Good. And I'm just going to spread out my glue so I can get a good seal on it. And there you go. Now you can see how this piece is a little loose here. So what I like to do is I like to take a glue dot, and I just use take your pick tool here, take a glue dot and pick it up, and then just like put it right in the middle here, just to tack that ribbon down. Don't want it too tight because in that way, it'll rip the sides of your paper. So I just put that there so to tack that down. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these two pieces together for the front. This is going to be this front panel here. This paper here is real pretty if you sponge it or use one of the blending brushes and brush it with color. And I've done that on the next set of cards, which will be the Regal Reindeer set. And I'll have those available to order in a day or two. Okay, that's straight. Now, let's put that down here. And I did not pop dot this on here because I've got my gnome and my toadstool popped up. So I did not put it on here like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and glue this down here on the front since we got this finished too. This card is really fast. And again, it's one of those with the pattern that you could use for just about any kind of stamp. Flowers, you know, nature, anything. Okay, so I'll line that up here. Just taking the same format, using different paper, and it just makes it look totally different. Okay, that down there. I'm going to kind of spread this down good because this embossing folder, remember, it was really thick and it has high ridges on it when we finished embossing. So fold that down good. Okay, now. Okay, so the only color ink that you're going to be using is the, you can actually use the Memento because we're going to be using the blends. Now, if you're going to use the markers, you want to use, again, the black stays on because this is a watercolor marker and it will smear, whereas the blends are alcohol markers. So you have to have an archival ink so that they don't smear all over your paper. So I'm just going to take this. I've got my gnome already up on my block here. And I'm just going to ink that up. Make sure I got enough on there. Okay, and just press it straight down. Count to 5 and straight up. There you go. All right, easy peasy. Then I might as well go ahead and stamp the other one on the inside while I'm at it because I've got my block right here and the ink out. This one's going to go on the inside like this. I'm just going to put it down here in the corner. You could use the Stamparatus if you wanted to for this, but this one usually, the line stamps like this usually ink up really good. It's only the solid ones that you have a lot of problems with. The ink up, I'm just going to put this in right here. All right, and there we go. Excuse my head a minute. I'm going to go ahead and clean the ink off of that. Memento comes off so easily, but the black stays on. It's hard to get off your stamps. Okay, let's get that done. Okay, so when I colored these, I used the blends. I used the real red, and then I used shaded spruce and a little bit of yellow in here. And then I also took my color lifter and I lifted some of the green because I just wanted it to be a little bit lighter underneath the toadstool here. And then I don't know if you can see, but I have put the Winkostella on the hat again and the gloves and on this part of the toadstool and then around the door and of course the glass on the windows. Now this here was cut out with these little pieces right here. This is the top of the toadstool right here. Then of course we got the grass right here, and then here's the little stem. And all I did is I cut those out of white, and I'm just going to take my pen here and get me a scrap piece of paper over here. And all I'm going to do is just take my marker, if I can pick them up, and just go over it. I could have got out the green paper and I could have cut it and everything if I wanted to do that, but I didn't want it to get out the whole pack of paper just for this little bit of stuff here. So all I did was just take it and, oops, it's actually easier to color it before you cut it out, but it's easier to hold on to if you did the other way. There you go. And this actually, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got little grooves that it cut out. The dies cut those out. So if I was going to take a long time with it, I would probably, make those a little darker. But I'm not going to do that right now. I like to lay my pen on the side because if you don't, you're going to bend your tip, and I don't like to bend my tips if I don't have to. There we go. Okay, just let that dry for a second. Okay, and then the gnome, again, I colored with the blends, and I'm not going to do that in front of you since I already have showed you how I colored. I've got one colored already here. Now I colored the toadstool a little different this time. I didn't want it quite as dark, so I went ahead and I used the granny apple green and the yellow on this one, but I wish I had matched his shirt with it, and I didn't. So next time I'll make sure that I do that. So it looks better, I think, if they're the same color. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and just glue this on the inside here. If you use a Tombow glue and you have something where you can put it in when you're not using it to keep it with the tip down, it makes it a lot easier to get it out and use it. The reason you see me banging on it every once in a while is because that one's getting empty. And so I'm getting it up to the tip so I can use it. All right, just even that up, good. And again, take my bone folder. Okay, and I've already cut these out with the matching dies. Just line them right up, cut them right out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put these on my card with my Stampin' Dimensionals. I want them sticking up a little bit. So you can see that the blends have colored through the paper, and I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but that shows that you're doing it right and that you're getting enough ink on the paper. It will go through unless you use, this is not watercolor paper, this is just regular white cardstock. Okay, so let's here, these off. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and stick this one up like, just, let's see, right on this side. It's going to go about right here, and this is going to go about right here, almost in the middle. Okay, secure it to the front. Down, again, take my bone folder, make sure that I've got the stuck down good. Now for the gnome, same thing. You want to put enough dimensionals on that so that if you send these in the mail, they don't get crushed in the middle. A lot of times if you just put them like on 1, 2, 3, you'll send a card and then this part will get, it'll be bent down onto the card front, and because there's nothing supporting it right there. So I always want to make sure that you get enough dimensionals on there so that your fancy coloring doesn't get smashed. Okay. Alright, I'm going to just put this one right up here against the toadstool. Okay, and then the same with these little pieces here that I just colored and I've lost again. This is the second time today I've lost these. I had to do it over because I couldn't find them a while ago. Now where'd they go? Oh, for crying out loud. I know you saw me color them. Oh, here they are over here. I still haven't found the ones from earlier that I colored. Okay, So I'm just gonna go ahead and put a dimensional behind here. Hold that up. And this little piece right here, I did not put a dimensional on that one. I just put it on this green piece here. And it's so tiny that what I did was I just took my scissors, and I don't want to waste the outside of these. So what I did, I just cut along the outside here so that I don't waste all this extra that's around the side. You could also use the smaller dimensionals if you wanted to. Just put one right there and one piece right here. Okay, there we go. Make sure it doesn't show. Oops. I find these little white things all over my house and my hair, all over the place. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this one right down here at the edge. I need to color that a little bit more, I think. And then I'm gonna take this stem, just put a little dab of glue on there. And I'll go ahead and stick this right in here. While I got that, I'm going to take my pen and just put a little bit more ink on here. It looks a little neater. I want to leave some of the white because I don't want it to look so plain. And then that's going to go right up here at the top like this. And I'm going to add my greeting, which I already stamped, so I don't have to stamp that again. If I can just find that now. I swear I put everything right here in front of me where I can see it, and then it comes up missing. Well, anyway, you can see that I just, instead of using the whole stamp, which, let's see, here it is. As you can see, the stamp says Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So what I did to get that, I just wanted the Merry Christmas on there. So what I did was I took a piece of my Scotch tape and I masked over where it says and a Happy New Year. I don't know if you, hope you can see that. So I'm just going to put the tape down here. I'm going to not tape over the Merry Christmas because I want that to show. So I'm just going to put the tape down there. And then I want a little bit over here for that and mark doesn't show. Okay, put that there. All right, and I'm just gonna put that on my block. Normally I wouldn't use this big of a block, but since I've got it laying right here, I'll go ahead and do it. So I'm just gonna put that on there. Then I just take my ink and I'm going to pick up this Merry Christmas here. And you can see that the ink is actually going onto the Scotch tape. This is the most important part. You don't want to forget to take the Scotch tape off before you stamp. Ask me how I know that. I've done it many times where I've left this tape on there and stamped. All right, let me get rid of this so it doesn't get all over the place. Okay, and then I'm going to just stamp this right here on my paper, and I'm not even going to wait to see if I have it even or not because I just want to show you how it works here. Use my head a minute here, and there you go. You just get Merry Christmas, and the other part is still here. I've seen people actually cut their stamps in half, but to me it's a lot easier just to put a piece of tape on it and not have to cut your stamps in half. All right, so again, I'm just going to cut around this. You don't even have to use your cutter. You can pretty much get it straight just by looking at the words. And just cut a little bit off there so that it's even. There we go. And then I'm just going to put it down here with pop dots on. Let me get a little bit of this top off here. A little bit too much off there. There we go. All right, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge of my dimensionals where I've cut them, and I'm just going to use these little pieces again. There. Cut some more. I usually cut them at the beginning so they're all ready to go when I need them. I've seen people though that they don't realize that you can do that, and they'll use all the dimensionals in the middle, and then they've got all this around the side that's just, you know, they throw it in the garbage. And no, you don't want to do that. All right, I'm going to go ahead there, get these off here. And then I'm just going to lay that right here across the front. And push it down. And the only thing we have left to do is just add our rhinestones and some Stella, and then your card is finished. Okay, and then I'm going to color this little guy on the inside as well. Okay, let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll come back with our fifth and our last card.